ACLS Game 6, Houston Astros, Tampa Bay Rays at Petco Park, San Diego. This is a fabulous series. Now we're going to do a different type of breakdown today. Blake Snell on the hill. See how I did that? A little Dr. Seuss. And then Valdez for Houston. Now, this series is very interesting because you got to remember where Houston came from. They were not a good regular season team. They barely crawled into the playoffs. In fact, it seems like they were giving away their playoff spot down the stretch. And we all know about Tampa Bay. And that's a tough division. Toronto, Baltimore, Boston, Yankees, that's a tough division to play in. So you figure the Rays are definitely the better team, but Houston continues to prove everyone wrong. And for those that are thinking, well, they cheated. Listen, they cheated not every single game, every single pitch. Yeah, they cheated, but I think this is a team that everyone's forgetting is a core team. They've been a championship team for years, and they're still really good. Now, what Houston's been doing ever since Game 1 against Minnesota, they've been the same team in the playoffs since the Minnesota series, the Oakland series, and now the Rays series. They have quality at bats, and they're consistently putting pressure on pitching. They've been that way ever since the playoffs have started. Now, when you look at the Tampa Bay Rays, the only thing I could point out is the best series next to this series was the Yankees-Rays series, in my opinion. That was a fabulous series. So, of all the series set up this year in 2020, you know, the Rays-Yankees and now this series, the Houston-Rays series, are the two best series. Now, Game 4 and 5, the Yankees held the Rays to just 3 runs. And that seems to be the change in the Rays. If you look at the Rays regular season and then all through the playoffs, 2 games 4 and 5 against Yankees and now this series, they're a different club. They're not hitting the same. They're not playing the same. And I think that's why we're looking at, you know, Houston playing the way they are and making this go to Game 7. Now back to the game. Now the top of the 5th for Houston. Maldonado sacrificed to the catcher. Diaz the second. Yurley moved to third. And this set up the big inning for Houston. Springer singled to center. So Yurley scored, Diaz scored, and then Altuve comes up. He doubles to deep left. Springer scores. Now Altuve gets to third on a pass ball. After a Brantley walk, Correa singled to left. Altuve scored, and then Brantley the second. So this put him up 4-1 at this point. And I think for Houston's attitude, they got a chip on their shoulder. And here's Tucker crushing a home run in the top of the 6th. But with the chip on their shoulder, they're going, yeah, we messed up, we cheated, but we still have a great club. Because you got to remember, some of these guys, they may not be thinking about the Hall of Fame now, but, you know, they would like to put up good numbers in their career to possibly go to the Hall of Fame and their future contracts and other teams they're going to be playing on. So, you know, Houston's got all types of different motivation. And, in fact, they probably got way more motivation to win than the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, a very interesting moment, bottom of 6, full count. Houston up 5-1, Diaz and Valdez. Valdez pitches around him, and Diaz barks at him. Kind of like the way Juan Soto barks at pitchers, but Diaz just didn't want to be pitched around. He wanted to hit, so he's kind of chewing out Valdez like, you know, don't pitch around me, pitch to me, you know, bring it to me, show me what you got. And Maldonado's talking to him like, yeah, we get it, calm down. And Diaz is, you know, pretty irked at this point. And Correa comes in at one point to be a mediator. And you don't see this. This is very rare to see a batter chew out a pitcher for pitching around him. And I think even some of the players were kind of like confused, like, what's going on? And Diaz is really fired up. He's not happy. He just wants to play. He wants a chance to compete. And I think it's just, you know, pressure getting to them. And then Correa does what a leader does on the team, goes up to Valdez and talks to him. You know, don't let him in your head. Pitch your game. And, you know, I can't read his lips like John Boy, but, you know, that's what he's doing. He's trying to let Valdez know, don't let him in your head. Just play your game. Come on, let's go. And who knows? This could be the point where, you know, Houston's showing the world like, hey, we're a better team. We're going to win this, and we're going to go to Game 7. We're going to the World Series. So this could be, you know, an example of how good Houston's playing and the level of baseball they're playing at. Now you have to remember how they got here a little bit. Houston went through Minnesota, which nobody expected that. Then they went through Oakland, which definitely nobody expected that. Let me show you my bracket, how they ruined my bracket. But then the Rays played Toronto, which was an easy game for them. The only tough series they had was the Yankees. So if I'm going to measure the series and who had a tougher time, I'm picking Houston. They've definitely played harder teams. Now, to illustrate the point of frustration on the Rays' part from Diaz, this was the inning before, 0-2 count against Zunino. He strikes out against Valdez. Then look at this. He goes right to breaking his bat. I think Tampa Bay's feeling the pressure. They've had a 3-0 lead, and they're seeing the series slip away, and they're slowly seeing the possibility of them losing and not going to the World Series. And look at the poor bat, still sitting on the ground like, dude, what did I do to you? Now, top of the seventh, Houston continues to have quality at-bats after Altuve singled to shallow left, and also he gets to second base on a pass ball by Zunino. Brantley singles to shallow right. Altuve scores. Correa doubles and moves Brantley to third, and then after Bregman strikes out, Tucker hits a sacrifice fly. Brantley scores, and they just continue to have quality at-bats and putting pressure on Tampa Bay's pitching. And that was pretty much game. You could see Blake didn't have a good game. Castilla, I mean, the bullpen just did not work for the Rays, which is what I've been talking about. Houston's quality at bats pressuring the pitching of the Tampa Bay Rays. Now for Houston, look at Valdez. Quality start, 6 innings pitch, 1 earned run. And then look at the bullpen, all the way from Shrub, all the way to Taylor, Javier, Presley. They did a great job. They held it tight, and they kept Tampa Bay from not hitting. And look at the hits. Tampa Bay only had 6 hits. They're not been hitting through this whole series. Houston forces a game 7. And you know, the way I look at it is you got someone like Dusty Baker, who reminds me of the Mad Professor. You know, he reminds me of Madden over in Chicago. He left Tampa full circle, came over to Chicago, won a World Series. And Dusty deserves it. Dusty's a great coach, and everything's coming to fruition for him. And my prediction, you know, Houston keeps playing the way they've been playing since day one against Minnesota, then Oakland, and then here against Tampa. They're going to the World Series. They haven't changed. Now, for Tampa, I've seen a difference in them when they're in the series against Yankees, game 4 and 5, and then this series. They're a different team, so they're not the same team as the regular season or the beginning of playoffs against Toronto than the beginning part of the Yankees. So, prediction, you know what? I think Houston's going to pull this off. They're going to win Game 7. They're going to go to the World Series. I mean, why not? They're just playing way better baseball than Tampa Bay right now.